After the Democratic debate, Donald Trump took it upon himself to comment on who he clearly thinks is the frontrunner for the Democratic Party, Bernie Sanders. Now, he had some choice words for Bernie Sanders during a rally in Richmond, Virginia. Take a look.
I watched Hillary last night with, we're going to give this, we're going to give that, we're going to give that. The poor woman, she's got to give everything away because this maniac that was standing on her right is giving everything away, so she's following. That's what's happening. This socialist slash communist, okay? Nobody wants to say it. And nobody's heard the term communist. But you know what? I call him a socialist slash communist, okay? Because that's what he is.
I call him a socialist slash communist because I don't know what either one of those mean. It just sounds bad.
Now, Bernie Sanders explained very carefully what a democratic socialist is.
Yeah.
And Trump is like, those facts are irrelevant to me, okay? Socialist, communist. Nobody's saying it, he said. That's true because it's not true. They're not saying it because he's not a communist. That's why they're not saying it. He's like, me, I don't care about facts. Who cares? I'll call him a communist. You think that's all? I'll call him other crazy things. He says, when he said there was a maniac standing to the right of her, and I was like, wait, is that you?
I know, that's the amazing thing. Like, the projection there is incredible because if you want to talk to me about maniac, I would call a maniac someone who takes a group of immigrants and labels all of them rapists and criminals, right? Mm-hmm. That's what a maniac would say. But I actually think this is great because it shows you that Trump sees Bernie Sanders as a threat.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a great feeling.
You think that Trump gave a huge portion of his speech to Lincoln Chafee? I don't think he talked much about Lincoln Chafee at all, okay? And no, he went after Sanders partly because, he thinks it's easy. Oh, socialist, who cares? I'll just call him a communist and that'll be fun, etc., right?
And it worked with his idiotic crowd. They're like, yeah, socialist slash communist. We don't know what any of that means, but it sounds freaking great.
We don't care about no stinking facts. Okay, now, he did spend a lot of time on Bernie Sanders because he obviously thinks he might be the candidate.
Yeah.
Right? If it's funny how everybody's always, dismissive. Well, if you were really dismissive, you would have treated him like Jim Webb or Lincoln Chafee, who you know is not going to be the candidate.
Right.
Right? So spare me. And then one other funny thing from his attack against Bernie Sanders, he also criticized Bernie Sanders and the others for not attacking Hillary Clinton enough. He said, quote, there was no attack, okay? It's funny, in his worldview, you're doing the right thing only if you're attacking everyone, right or wrong, indiscriminately or indiscriminately. He's like, it wasn't enough of a blood sport. Okay, nobody got their jaw broken. Not an interesting debate.
I mean, that's his plan of attack. That's the way that his strategy has worked for him. And so the more he attacks people, the more favorability he has, which is really depressing.
I'll tell you, man, if the general election was Trump versus Bernie Sanders, that would be a mind-blowing event.
It really would. I mean, what would Trump's response be? What would his rebuttals be? Mm-hmm. Like, you're a dum-dum?
Yeah, that's of course. He would say to the guy who's clearly the smartest guy in the whole race. And Bernie Sanders would be like, okay, now here's my policy position. He would explain it very carefully. And he would show that it matches exactly with the polling of the American people. They actually agree with it, right? And Trump would be like, oh, yeah, I'll have a policy better than that. Once I'm in the White House, then I'll figure it out. Dum-dum.
What are you gonna? Well, how are you going to dominate Russia and China?
How are you going to dominate them?
Yeah.
I'm going to tie Putin up. That's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to spank him. I'm going to spank him hard. Well, Bernie, you're not even going to give a light spanking to Putin. We can't trust you. I mean, we have a child. We have a child in the race, and he's easily winning. Like, Republicans see like a 3-year-old like going like this with his spoon and splattering stuff all over the wall. And they're like, yeah, that's our guy. That's our guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's got two things that are working for him. Yes, he attacks people, but I think the reason why that resonates is because he doesn't come off as the career politician. And then the other thing is that he's not taking donations from people. He's funding his own campaign. Mm-hmm. And everyone understands that money in politics is a huge problem. Unfortunately, just because someone isn't being funded by the money in the politics doesn't mean that he's a good candidate.
Okay, and finally, isn't it interesting that the person in the Democratic side of the campaign who is the most substantive is the one that is winning now. Everybody's still crying today about how, no, but we think Hillary won. Oh, we don't care what the polls say. The polls are irrelevant. Okay, the polls are irrelevant, but your bullshit opinion is relevant.
I know.
Why is your opinion more relevant than the polls? No, because I'm a professional. I'm a professional, and so yeah, Hillary. I saw it. Hillary won. She was flawless. She won. Okay. So now, but in reality, scientific and unscientific polls have Bernie Sanders winning. All the immediate polls that were done on the websites after the debate say he crushed in the polls, okay, in the debate. But in the real polls, the scientific polls, Iowa, New Hampshire, he's also winning, right? Those are the first two races, he's winning, right? And he's the most substantive. On the Republican side, the guy who's clearly winning in every poll is Donald Trump. And he's the least substantive.
And then the second person in the polls for the Republican Party is also is
the second least substantive person, Ben Carson. And we don't say it based on we disagree with their policies. No, Trump admits it. He says things like, I'll figure out foreign policy once I get into office.
Yeah.
And the Republicans look at that and go, that guy is really, really unprepared, ignorant, and possibly unintelligent. That's my guy, right? And the Democrats think, oh, this guy, Bernie Sanders, is filled with policy prescriptions and ideas on what he would do to make the country better. Well, that's my guy.
Yeah.
So now what does that tell you about the Democratic Party and the Republican Party?